Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Over Tea, where we make English simple, practical, and actually enjoyable. I am Anna.
And I am Dan. Hello to all of our wonderful listeners tuning in from all over the world today. Anna, before we get into the meat of today's episode, I actually need a quick favor from you.
Oh no, what is it? Whenever you start a sentence like that, I get a little nervous.
Don't worry, it's nothing big. Can you borrow me your blue pen for a second? I need to jot something down before I forget it.
Oh, Dan, see, this is absolute perfection. You just walked right into the trap. I cannot borrow you my pen, but I can gladly lend it to you.
Typical me, right? I fell for the exact mistake we were supposed to be teaching people to avoid today. But honestly, Anna, I did that completely on accident, which just proves how incredibly easy it is to swap these two verbs in daily conversation.
It really is. Borrow and lend are two of the most frequently confused words in the entire English language, especially for A2 and B1 learners. In fact, even advanced speakers sometimes slip up when they are speaking quickly.
Why do you think that is? Because in my head, when I asked for the pen, I just pictured the pen moving between us. The physical action is the same. The pen changes hands.
Exactly. The action involves the same object, but the direction of the action is completely opposite. It all depends on who is giving and who is receiving. If you mix up the direction, the sentence completely breaks down.
Okay, so let's break it down naturally so our listeners can finally stop swapping them. Let's look at the first verb, borrow.
Right. To borrow means to take or receive something from someone else, but only for a short time. Crucially, you have the full intention of giving it back later. Think of the movement as coming in toward you. You are the receiver.
So if I need your car because mine is in the mechanic shop, I would say, can I borrow your car this weekend?
Perfect, because the car is coming from me to you. You are taking it into your possession temporarily. Temporarily means for a limited time, not permanently.
Okay, let's look at another classic example, the library. You never go to a library to lend books. You go there to borrow books.
Yes, you walk in, you pick out 3 massive novels, you scan them, and you take them home with you. You are borrowing them from the library. And there's a very specific grammar pattern here that listeners should memorize. Borrow something from someone.
From is the magic preposition there. I borrow money from the bank. I borrow a lawnmower from my neighbor. I borrow a cup of sugar from the person next door.
Exactly. But Dan, let me ask you a very honest question. Have you ever borrowed something and just accidentally forgot to return it?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone has a borrowing graveyard in their house. My friend lent me a graphic novel about 3 years ago. It is still sitting proudly on my bookshelf. Every time he comes over, I subtly place a cushion in front of it so he doesn't see it.
That is terrible. See, at that point, it stops being a borrow and starts becoming a permanent adoption. If you keep it forever, you didn't borrow it, Dan.
I know. I feel guilty every time I look at it. But that brings up an important point. The word borrow requires an intention to return. An intention is a plan or a purpose in your mind to do something. If you have no intention of returning it, well, that's a completely different vocabulary word.
Right. We call that stealing, Dan.
Hey, it was an accident. But let's check in with our audience here. Listeners, we want to hear from you right now. Drop a comment below and tell us what is the weirdest thing you have ever borrowed from someone, or alternatively, what's something someone borrowed from you and never ever brought back.
Oh, I can't wait to read those comments. People get very passionate about things that were never returned. Pots, pans, clothes, money. It's a dangerous game.
It really is. Now, back to the grammar. If borrow is the action of taking something in, what happens when we look at it from the other side?
That is where things get interesting, and that is exactly what we need to contrast it with. If borrow is taking, then our second verb is all about giving. But before we reveal all the secrets of that second verb, let's make sure everyone fully digests how borrow works. It's a regular verb, by the way, so the past tense is simply borrowed.
Right. Yesterday, I borrowed an umbrella because it was pouring rain. Simple, clean, and always follows the direction towards the speaker.
Perfect. Now that we've established the foundation of borrowing, we're ready to flip the camera angle and look at the transaction from the person who actually owns the item. Perfect. Now that we have established the foundation of borrowing, we are ready to flip the camera angle and look at the transaction from the person who actually owns the item.
All right, so if borrowing is all about taking something in, let's flip the coin and look at our second verb for today, lend.
Yes, to lend means to give something to someone else for a temporary period of time with the clear expectation that they will return it to you eventually. So if borrow is an inward action, lend is an outward action. The object is moving away from you and going to someone else.
This is where the grammar patterns get slightly tricky because lend actually has two common structures that native speakers use all the time in daily English exchanges. The first one is lend something to someone. For example, I will lend my favorite book to Sarah.
And the second structure, which is arguably even more common in casual conversation, is lend someone something. For example, can you lend me $5? Notice how the preposition to completely disappears in that second version.
That's a really important distinction. You can say, lend me your ears like Shakespeare, but you can never say, borrow me your ears. That just sounds completely bizarre to a native speaker.
Please do not borrow anyone your ears, Dan. That sounds like a scene from a horror movie. But you're exactly right. Another massive difference that trips people up is that lend is an irregular verb.
Oh, the dreaded irregular verbs. English learners absolutely adore those, don't they?
Yes, they are a total crowd favorite. The past tense of lend is not lended, it is lent. L-E-N-T. For example, last week I lent Dan my favorite coffee mug, and I am still waiting to get it back.
Hey, I washed it and it is sitting on my desk right now, I swear. But see, that is the perfect example. You lent it to me in the past and I borrowed it from you.
Now that we have the structure down, let's look at a word that naturally comes up whenever we talk about sharing our belongings. Reluctant. Reluctant means you do not really want to do something, so you do it very slowly or hesitantly because you feel unsure or worried. Dan, are you a reluctant lender?
It depends entirely on what the item is. If someone asks me to lend them my books, I am extremely reluctant. I like my book spines perfectly crisp without any creases or folded pages. If you bend the cover of my book, I will secretly hold a grudge forever.
A grudge. Wow, remind me never to touch your library. A grudge is when you stay angry at someone for a long time because of something bad they did to you in the past. That is pretty intense for a book cover, Dan.
I take my reading material very seriously, Anna. But what about you? What is something you are highly reluctant to lend to people?
Clothes. Definitely clothes, and especially shoes. Once someone else wears your shoes, they stretch them out, they change the shape based on how they walk. It's just never the same. I will gladly lend you an oversized sweater, but my favorite leather boots are strictly off limits.
That is fair enough. Shoes are very personal. But what about the ultimate test of human friendship? Money.
Ooh, the big one. Lending money to friends or family is a massive topic. There's actually a very old, famous English proverb that says, neither a borrower nor a lender be, which basically means you should avoid doing both because it completely ruins relationships.
I can see why people say that. It introduces a very weird, uncomfortable dynamic into a good friendship. Suddenly, you aren't just grabbing coffee as equals anymore. One person is a debtor and the other is a debt collector. It makes future hangouts so awkward.
Awkward, yes. That means an uncomfortable, clunky, or embarrassing situation. If you lend a friend $50 because they claim they're broke, and then the next day you see them posting photos on social media buying expensive designer clothes or fancy dinners, you start to feel a little resentful.
Totally. You're sitting at home eating instant ramen thinking, hey, that's my sneaker money you're eating right there.
Exactly. So, listeners, we want to know your personal philosophy here. What are your strict rules for lending money to friends? Do you just treat it as a pure gift so you don't have to worry about it? Or do you actually keep a detailed spreadsheet? Tell us in the comments.
I'm definitely the treat it as a gift type. If I can't afford to lose that money forever, I simply do not lend it. It saves a lot of psychological headaches.
That is a very mature approach, Dan. Much more mature than hiding cushions over borrowed graphic novels.
Hey, we agreed we don't need to bring that up again. Let's stay focused on the English practice here.
All right, I will let you off the hook this time. Let's do a quick structural mental check-in for our B1 learners before we move forward. Remember this simple trick. If the subject of your sentence is I, you will almost always use borrow. Can I borrow your jacket? If the subject of your sentence is you will use lend. Can you lend me your jacket?
Right, it's like a linguistic mirror. One reflects the giver, the other reflects the receiver. And speaking of switching perspectives, when we come back in the final part, we're going to look at some common idioms using these words, plus a quick interactive quiz to see if you can spot the errors in real time.
Absolutely. Now, before we test your brains with a quick interactive quiz, I want to look at how borrow and lend shift when we look at common English idioms. If you remember the conversational style we used in our previous episode transcript from script.x123, we always love giving you phrases that native speakers use automatically in real life.
Yes, idioms make your English sound so much more natural and colorful. Let's start with an incredibly common one that uses our outward verb, lend a hand. Anna, do you want to explain this one?
I would love to. To lend a hand simply means to help someone with a physical task. For example, if you see your neighbor struggling to carry 5 heavy grocery bags up the stairs, you might say, "Hey, do you need me to lend a hand?" You aren't literally detaching your physical hand and giving it to them temporarily. It just means you're offering your assistance.
That would be pretty terrifying if you actually detached your hand. Haha. Another good one using the same verb is lend weight to something. This means to make an opinion, argument, or idea seem more credible, serious, or likely to be true. For instance, the new scientific study lends weight to the theory of climate change.
Oh, that's a very elegant phrase for our B1 learners to practice. Now, what about the borrowing side?
A classic phrase you will hear in movies, books, and daily conversations all the time is living on borrowed time. This is a slightly dramatic idiom. It means to continue living or existing past the time when you were expected to die, fail, or finish.
Right. For example, if an old car is completely falling apart, making horrible noises, and the engine is smoking, you could say, "This poor car is living on borrowed time. It's going to stop working completely any day now."
Exactly. Or if a football manager keeps losing every single match, the sports commentators might say, "He's living on borrowed time at this club. His time there is running out fast."
Interactive Spot the Mistake quiz. Okay, listeners, it is time for the ultimate test. We have gone over the definitions, the direction of movement, the prepositions, and the idioms. Now, Dan is going to say 3 sentences. Some of them might contain common mistakes that daily English learners make. Your job is to listen closely and figure out if the sentence is correct or incorrect.
Are you guys ready? Let's start with sentence number 1. Can you please borrow me your grammar book for the weekend? Anna, what do you think?
Ugh, Dan, that hurts my ears a little bit. That sentence is incorrect. Why? Because the speaker is asking the other person to perform the action. The direction of the book is moving away from the owner. So the correct verb should be lend. The sentence must be, can you please lend me your grammar book? Or if you really want to use borrow, you have to change the subject. Can I borrow your grammar book from you?
Perfect explanation, spot on. Let's try sentence number 2. I need to go to the bank because I want to lend some money for a new laptop. Listeners, think about it for a second. Is it right or wrong?
That one is also incorrect. Unless you are a multi-millionaire who is running a charity for banks, you do not go there to give them money temporarily. You go there to receive money. The direction is moving towards you. Therefore, the correct sentence is, I need to go to the bank because I want to borrow some money for a new laptop.
Exactly. The bank is the lender, you are the borrower. All right, let's do the final one, sentence number 3. She lent her favorite dress to her sister for the party, but she was very reluctant about it.
Yes, this sentence is completely correct. It uses the past tense lent correctly. It uses the preposition to perfectly, lent something to someone, and it even includes our vocabulary word reluctant from part 2. 10 out of 10 for that sentence, Dan.
Thank you. I do try my best.
Vocabulary recap. You did great, Dan. Now, before we say our final goodbyes for today, let's do a quick, comprehensive recap of all the wonderful vocabulary words and expressions we covered in today's episode.
Temporarily, for a limited time, not permanently. Intention, a clear plan or purpose in your mind to do something. Reluctant, hesitant, unsure, or unwilling to do something. Grudge, holding on to angry feelings towards someone for a past mistake. Awkward, an uncomfortable or embarrassing, clunky situation. Lend a hand, an idiom meaning to help someone with a task. Living on borrowed time, an idiom meaning existing past the expected expiration point.
Try using at least 2 of these words or idioms in a real English conversation this week. The more you produce the language actively, the faster it sticks in your brain permanently.
Thank you so much for sitting down and practicing your English with us over tea today. If you found this episode helpful, please hit that subscribe button for English over tea, listen and speak. Give this video a thumbs up and leave us a comment below. It truly helps our channel grow and allows us to create more free educational material for you.
Stay consistent, keep practicing your daily exchanges, and don't worry about making mistakes. It's all part of the journey. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.